It's Carter Sports back, and today we gonna talk about USC and Lincoln Riley. Have they lied to us? And Oregon is surgically trying to tear down and tear apart USC. What we gonna do about it? So let's go. And if you've been here before, can you please hit that like, please? And if you ain't subscribed, boy, you better subscribe. Family, Trojan, gang, fight on forever is in the building. And this a PSA, man. This a PSA, man. Oregon not playing with us. Oregon not playing with us. And USC, did they lie to us? Did Lincoln Riley and USC lie to us? And what I mean by lie to us, I heard Lincoln Riley say the USC NIL program has made monster leaps. Well, the NIL program have made monster leaps, and we still can't compete when it comes to bidding for these players. What was we at? Zero? Well, we had $5 in the bank? Because if we made monster leaps and still ain't close, then what was we at originally? Lincoln Riley said, every one player that leave, it gonna be 100 players lining up. Where them 100 players at? Where they at? I'm still looking for them. I'll see it, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Let me get on Oregon. Right now, Oregon is Kendrick Lamar, and we Drake right now, because they surgically cutting us, and they've been doing it for years. And you say, why you say that, Carter? And I know a lot of people gonna be in the comments, oh man, you whining. Well, if the truth is whining, then I'ma always be whining, because I'm just telling the truth. I'm a USC fan. I don't want to say these negative things. That's the truth. I don't want to complain about the truth. But how y'all gonna respect me? How y'all gonna respect Carter Sports if I don't tell y'all the truth and what I'm seeing? Now, Oregon is surgically cutting because, first off, let me start right now, today. Oregon has like 105 scholarships. They over the scholarship limit by 25, right? Oregon is stacked in the defensive line. They stacked at the defensive line. They didn't need no more defensive linemen, right? They didn't need no more defensive linemen. Now, in the beginning of this recruitment, Oregon wasn't even in the running. When this kid came out of the transfer portal, his agent said they looking at USC, Colorado, and Miami. I get it, USC, LA, Miami, Colorado, prime time, right? Oregon wasn't even in the mix. Miami had a big hole in the transfer portal. They ran out of money, so they got out of the Derek Harmon sweepstakes, right? And then with this USC in Colorado. But once it was USC in Colorado, Oregon is watching, and they like, okay, USC gonna outbid Colorado, because Colorado ain't got no bag like that either. So Oregon seen that if it's down to USC and Colorado, it's a good chance that USC get Derek Harmon. So Oregon entered the conversation late, just for USC won't get the kid. Because if it's a bidding war for this kid, if he demanding high numbers, and you already stacked on the defensive line, why is you finna enter a bidding war? And you already stacked there, and this player is asking for more than he probably worth, right? Oregon grabbed Derek Harmon just so USC won't grab him. They playing chess. Oregon they over the scholarship limit by 20 because they trying to hoard players away from USC, right? So for instance, when they got Dakota Fields, they DB class and they roster is stacked with DBs. When they got Dakota Field, they already had like 7 DBs in that class alone, right? They got Dakota Fields just to keep them away from USC. We don't really need you, we stacked, but we can't let USC get you, so come on, right? Ryan Pelham, Oregon stacked, they had a gang of receivers. They didn't need Ryan Pelham. Let's get him so he won't go to USC. Oregon is hoarding talent just to keep him away from USC. This is at least the 4th player that they got that they didn't need. That player was probably going to go to USC, but they came in at the last minute. So they came at the last minute with Ryan Pelham, Dakota Fields, and Derek Harmon. And I know I'm missing some. I'm trying to think. It was somebody like that last year as well. I forget. The kid with he ended up with an Ole Miss. It was Walter Nolan, right? Oregon be jumping in these bidding wars for players USC won't just to raise the price to where USC can't get it. So Walter Nolan price got raised because of Oregon and certain schools hiked it up so high. See, these schools set the market. It don't matter what a player wants. You only worth what the max is offering you. Oregon getting these bidding wars just to make it too pricey for USC. They do. Because why would they pay $800,000, however much this kid wanted, too much more than what USC got, and they already stacked on the defensive line. They already stacked. They already got Jamari Caldwell. They got Jamari Caldwell. Their roster was already stacked. And then they get Derek Harmon. This is overkill. Jamari Caldwell is a nose tackle. Jamari Caldwell is 320. And he went to Oregon. And you gonna get another nose tackle when you already had one at Caldwell and you already had a couple on the roster. And then the kids you bringing in from the high school recruiting class. Oregon don't need these players that they getting that USC needs. So Oregon can outbid USC just to keep the player away from them. USC can't even outbid nobody when it's a dire need. See, this is one thing that Oregon and Dan Lanning, I see what they understand. If you dominate the West Coast, and then you sprinkle it in with some players out the South and then the rest of the country, you're going to be elite, right? So Oregon is dominating the West Coast in recruiting. And then when it comes to these transfer portal guys, they outbid USC there as well. So Oregon understand to keep USC down, right? Oregon is taking these players just because for USC cachet won't rise, just so we actually become the place to be. So Oregon know if USC got Dakota Fields and Ryan Pelham and Jamari Caldwell and Derek Harmon, they're gonna produce better results on the field, and it's gonna be harder for Oregon to recruit like they doing. Only way Oregon can recruit like they doing if they dominate the West Coast first, because they can't dominate the South because the South got bags as well. The South got bags as well. So Oregon is like, we on the West Coast, nobody got a bag like us. Let's dominate the West Coast. If we dominate the West Coast recruiting, we 80% there. Now all we gotta do is sprinkle some more bag in the transfer portals to get kids out the SEC. In the big conference, right? So Oregon is playing chess. Oh, we don't need Derek Harmon, but like he about to go to USC, let's get him. We don't need Ryan Pelham, like he about to go to USC, let's get him. We don't need Dakota Fields. Let's get him because he about to go to USC. And back to USC. Now, it seems like people feel like the boosters is failing us. You don't want that to be the case. You don't want that to be the case. Now, if the boosters are failing us, Why would Lincoln Riley say the NFL has made monstrous leaps? And if the boosters is failing us after we done made a complete rehaul of the defense, if the boosters ain't buying what we selling after we didn't hire Eric Henderson, Danton Lynn, Doug Belt, Matt Entz, they ain't gonna never buy in. So if it's a USC booster thing, we in trouble for reals. Because if that's the case, if the USC boosters ain't bought in, they ain't gonna never buy in, and our boosters gotta be fair weather, the typical California. Like, our boosters and the people that make a difference, that's gonna help us do this NIL thing and pay for play thing, they don't care enough about football. They don't love football enough to put their money where their mouth is. So some people are saying, the boosters just say, let me see it on the field first. But how they gonna see improvement and get excited what's going on in the field if we ain't got the players? So the boosters just don't want to pay. If the boosters is really like, we ain't convinced, let's see it on the field first, then it ain't gonna never happen, because you gotta take a risk. That's high school recruiting, right? Forget the transfer portal, that's high school recruiting. Even with Juju Lewis, we taking a risk. Even with every 5-star, you're taking a risk because they might or might not pan out. So how can the boosters look at the transfer portal and have no money for the transfer portal because, oh, this player ain't this and that, ain't proven enough? Then we ain't gonna never get to what we supposed to be. It's very rare that players that's in the portal is proven players all the way. 95% of the players in the portal is potential. Think about, out of the last couple years, the only players that been proven out of the portal really is Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison. It's been a couple, but you could name them on one hand, that players that was already proven and dominating on the field that hopped in the portal. 90% of the portal guys is taking a chance. You even taking a chance with Derek Harmon. He was great. He wasn't dominant. Because he only got 1 year left, so he was dominant. He probably would have been in the NFL draft. I know he would have. Because you go get the Oregon bag, you want money. So obviously the NFL wasn't calling enough. He wasn't a high enough draft pick or prospect to where he want to go out and test the NFL draft. So even Derek Harmon is potential. But you don't see that stopping Oregon, Ole Miss, Miami. Oh, Cam Ward is another player that's proven that went in the portal. But every year you only have like 3 or 4 or 5 guys that's actually really proven and has done it multiple seasons, right? Or had a strong one season that's undeniable, right? So if we only want to spend money on players that been proving it on the field, the portal ain't gonna offer that. 90% of the players in the portal is gonna offer players who is potential, who's got the potential, right? So if our boosters ain't in, they ain't gonna never be in, because this current roster ain't finna cause wreck to have them be all in. If that's the case, we would have went all in the other year after we came off 11-3 season. Caleb won the Heisman, right? We would have went all in last year in the transfer portal. But even last year, we missed out on the top guys in the transfer portal, right? And we got some dudes, but we always needed trench play. We didn't get nobody in the trenches like that. We got Bear, right? That's it. We got Bear and thought it was job done. Okay, we cool. Nah, we needed 3 or 4 more. We would have got more players. So they wasn't all in after 11-3 in the Heisman season. They not finna be all in on this USC team. I don't see this USC team causing that much noise, but the Butcher gonna be like, okay, we see it. We all in. Right? Because it's LA, it's California, we fair weather. So the only way the Boosters are gonna be all in if we playing in a national championship game somewhere close like that, at least the semifinals. If we have a 9-3 season and go to the playoffs and get bounced in the first round or the second round, that ain't gonna be enough for the USC boosters. Apparently, because 11-3 in the Heisman wasn't enough. We were so close, Caleb, first year, that should have been enough. Like, okay, we went 11-3 with a suspect defense. I see the vision. They should have seen then, okay, all we need is a defense. But guess what? They squandered Caleb Williams last season. The whole university. Right? So, if the boosters is a problem, say goodbye to Lincoln Riley. Say goodbye to any top tier coaches. What coach is going to want to coach at USC with them expectations? But you can't compete when it comes to building a roster. It's like if you a general manager in baseball. Would you rather be the general manager for the Dodgers who got buku money, who gonna spend it like the Dodgers and Yankees? Or would you rather be the Oakland A's or a team that ain't gonna spend no money and you gotta work with mediocre players? Now baseball different. It's more feasible to win with less talent in baseball. But then it's just like any other pro team. It's like if you in the NFL or the NBA and the salary cap is $100 million. Say the salary cap is $100 million per season in the NBA, right? And you coaching for a team, or you a general manager of a team that only got $50 million to spend. You ain't gonna want to GM that team because you ain't gonna have the money to offer the players that you want to get. Like, how can a chef cook without no money for groceries? So either the USC, NIL, House of Victory, or the boosters, at this point I usually think it don't matter what's the problem. I don't care if it's the boosters or the NIL or the coaches. The problem is we expecting groceries to be cooked. We expecting to cook with no groceries. Right? Right? We expecting to feed a whole house with $100. Now, if you a kid, do you want to live in a home that only got $100, $200 to spend on groceries a month, and you got to eat top ramen noodles every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? On the back end of the month, peanut butter and syrup sandwiches? Or would you want to live in a household that's gonna feed you steak and lobster every night, right? And USC think these kids want to live in a household where they ain't gonna eat because the parent gonna say, oh, I'm gonna make you a man. I'm gonna give you these chores. I'm gonna give you these life lessons to make you a better man. Right? A kid will look at that like, I gotta starve to be a better man? Nah, I'm cool. I'm gonna go to this household that can take care of me and feed me, and I'll be a better man. Y'all ain't the only ones that could be a better man. See, USC ain't the only school that can develop. These kids don't know too much. So any defensive line coach can say, man, I could develop for you. Look at our defensive line last year. I coached this player, that player. This player was in the NFL. Right? So that's where USC is lost in the game at. USC think education, prestige, history, and location matters more than, how can I say this, matters more than money. It don't. It just don't. That's what we losing at. We in 2024, this generation is not like the past generations. The deeper we get in generations, the less quality that these kids grow up with. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got the same quality. Even the Bible say, as generations go on and on, the kids gonna be less than their father. They're gonna have less integrity. They're gonna have less respect. They're gonna have more pride and ego, right? And you can look at it just as has the world turn. You can look at it as a world view. Back in the day, you had all kind of educated people who had great integrity, that was tapped in and was great people. And you couldn't buy them with a dollar amount. There's no more John F. Kennedys, Malcolm X's, and Martin Luther Kings, and Nelson Mandelas, and Gandhi's. There's There's no more great characters no more. Now you have Joe Biden's, right? And Kamala Harris's, right? There's no great people. There's no Huey Newtons around. Know what I'm saying? There's no great people. This generation is lacking. Like, even for instance, this Kendrick Lamar Drake battle. This generation feels like Drake is up there with Kendrick when it comes to lyrics. This generation is lacking the substance and character and quality of character and morals of the past generation. So this generation is not going to give a damn about no development or no education. This is the Twitter, Instagram, social media, microwave generation. These kids don't care about that. They don't care about location either, right? So let me give you a story about this one recruit, right? And I know the recruit, and I'm talking to the recruit, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm like, you don't want to go to Eugene. Like, Eugene is in the middle of nowhere. Like, why would you want to be out there? And they was able to twist it, because when you want the money so bad, but this player didn't end up going to Oregon, but they were feeling Oregon at the moment. When you want to go somewhere so bad, you will twist up facts and make things that you will make a negative a positive. So I told this player, you don't want to be in a small town like Eugene, in the middle of the forest, in the middle of nowhere. And you know how the kid and his dad looked at it? Well, like, yeah, that's true. But in a small town like Eugene, you could be the man. You be running the city. In LA, you ain't nobody. You just another star. You know what I'm saying? But in Eugene, man, you could be the man in this town. Right? So they don't care about location, because that could be flipped. Yeah, we in the middle of nowhere, but hey, guess what that means? You gonna be a god. You gonna eat free everywhere. Everybody gonna know you. All the ladies gonna want you. You know what I'm saying? All the ladies gonna want you. You gonna eat. You gonna get the red carpet everywhere you go. Now, the typical regular player on USC, he ain't got the keys to the city. Caleb Williams did. But the average player on USC, they ain't got the keys to the city. You go to Oregon, you could be on a scout team and you'll have the keys to the city. You could go to Oklahoma and be on the scout team and you could have the keys to the city. You get what I'm saying? So these kids, they could get coached up off location. They don't care about prestige and history. And they damn sure don't care about academics. They trying to spend 3 years in college and bolt to the NFL. You get what I'm saying? So the advantages we think we have, we ain't gonna get them. We only gonna get the special, unique kids that got special, unique parents, like Cameron Fountain Mom. But it's only 1 or 2 of them kids in each class, as you see. You know what I'm saying? So they come with them kids in each class. So Oregon is strategic. They getting players they don't need just so we can't get them. USC lied and said their NIL program has made a major leap, and it didn't, or if it did, it must have made a major leap from nothing. And then some fans think it ain't the coaches, it ain't the university, it's the boosters. Well, if it's the boosters, then we finna turn into a basketball school. Because this college football is big game hunting. USC is gonna be the last university to realize that this is semi-pro. Just like USC was the last university to realize after NCAA, we're gonna do whatever we can to get these players, right? So by USC being last on recognizing what's going on, being last to change, we getting set back. Last year set us back 2 years. We can have another failure year this year, we gonna get set back another 2 years, and so on and so on. We gonna continue not to be at where we supposed to be at. And it's sad to me because there's only one thing stopping us. There's only one thing stopping us. It's money. And one day we gonna look up and we gonna be like, damn, it's been 30, 40 years since USC competed for a national championship. Because of the money. And it's sad that a university that's in LA can't get the money they need. It's sad. Y'all gonna say I'm whining? But I know I'm telling the truth. See, you got two type of fans. You got fans that's gonna sunshine pump and only want you to tell them things that gonna make them feel good. And you got fans that gonna want to tell you the truth. Well, Carter Portia is here for the fans that want to tell you the truth. And the truth is, Oregon is snatching players out of USC that they don't even need just so USC can't get them. USC can't even get nobody because they ain't got the money. Like, I seen Locked On USC and USCJ talking about a Division II kid. I ain't saying this kid ain't a baller, but if he was a baller like that, we would have heard about him from the beginning of this transfer portal period. Right? If that D2 kid was a baller, or I ain't saying he ain't a baller, but if USC felt like he was a baller, they would have offered him a long time ago. This is an offer that we missing out on, everybody, so let's offer this kid. But goddamn, we gotta go down to the D2 level. Like, we ain't even, I just brought y'all a video of 5 kids on the D1 level that USC should look at. But no, USC, they looking at players on a D2 level. That show you where NIL at. You know what I'm saying? That shows you. So I'm sorry, I'm not excited about the D2 player, not because he D2, it's because USC is offering him when they offering him. When they didn't struck out on everybody. Like I said, if he was that dude, they would have been offering him like they offered, I think they offered CJ West, right? No, this is a recent offer, meaning a week or two ago when the transfer portal opened, USC wasn't even thinking about offering this kid. So it ain't got that bad that our contemporaries, they getting Power 5 transfer portal defense alignment, and we gotta snatch D2 players now. Wow. And you know, USC fans, we talk a lot on social media. I be chirping, we all be chirping. This university finna make us look like fools. They finna start. Let this season, you know what? I'm gonna end this video because I'm beating a dead horse. We done known since 2021, 2022, 2022 for sure. We all know the two problems with USC: the defensive coordinator and NIL. We fixed the defensive coordinator situations, but that don't even matter, right? And then for this high school recruiting class, we got, Justice Terry, Isaiah Gibson, right? Watch in December when it's come commitment time. Watch Oregon come in at the last minute on these kids. Watch Ole Miss come in at the last minute of these kids. Watch the spenders in the NIL pay for play at the last minute come with a big bag. Because at the last minute you come with a big bag and the player only got 24 hours to decide, he might decide to bag, because once you get offered it, for the first couple of hours you're gonna be thinking about all that money and what you could do with it. And at the same time you thinking about that money and what you could do with it, the clock is ticking. And 9 times out of 10, these young high school players, they from the trenches. These players is from the trenches. So when they from the trenches and mama and daddy poor and they eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner, I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying, right? They gonna choose the bag. Young black kids as well. Young black men who grew up oppressed, young black men who had limited opportunity, young black men who feel like the world is against them, young black men who feel like this is their only way out. It's almost impossible for them to deny that bag. It's like dangling a steak in front of a hungry lion. Right? It's like dangling a steak in front of a hungry to say this. These high school kids, these transfer portal kids, because the clock is ticking on their career, they hungry lions. They hungry lions. And USC ain't got the food to feed them. They hungry lions and USC ain't got the steaks. And we refuse to go get the steaks. We refuse to go shop and get these kids steak. USC want to give these kids something they ain't trying to hear. They ain't trying to hear no development. These kids must feel like a coach can only do so much. Right? Isaiah Rakes was at spring ball. He must then think what Coach Henny was teaching them was that valuable. Or maybe he got the information he leaves in bounce. I don't know. But the conclusion of all this, and just to land this plane, these high school kids, these transfer portal kids, they're hungry lions coming out the trenches. You gotta have steak. USC ain't got the steak. So until then, it's Carter Sports. It's USC. It's Trojan City. So let's go.